Hey everybody, welcome back. I am once again your host, and today we're going to be discussing the film collection known as Hot Shots. Please feel free to like and subscribe in the comments and leave a comment for what you think I should do for an upcoming video discussion or movie music review. And if I do, I'll give you credit for it. Now let's get on to this. Um, The first Hot Shots movie came out in 1991, and the main cast of it was Charlie Sheen as Topper Harley, who most would remember for being Charlie on Two and a Half Men. Where I remember him most is the Three Musketeers movie that came out in the 90s that is credited as a Disney movie, but is not officially listed as a Disney movie, where Charlie Sheen plays Aramis, the priest in the movie. And also the Major League movies. Well, the first two Major League movies where he played Vaughn, the criminal turned professional baseball player. It also stars Carrie Ells. I'm probably mispronouncing that, not meaning to. It's just a habit with his name. As Kent Gregory, who was in Saw as Dr. Lawrence Gordon, Robin Hood Men in Tights as Robin Hood, The Princess Bride as Wesley, and Stranger Things as Mayor Larry Klein. Also, something about Charlie Sheen's character's name being Topper Harley. No, I could not confirm it. It's actually said to be that it's a form of the Harley Davidson scooter. If this is true, I am actually surprised. If not, I wouldn't be surprised. But it sounded like something that'd be worth finding, so. But in my case, I couldn't find anything on it at the time when I looked this up. Next, and the last of the main cast is Valera Galeno. I'm I'm probably mispronouncing her name, as Ramada Thompson, who is the love interest in this film and plays some odd roles in it as well. Um, she was known for the series In Treatment as Eleonora, and also being in Rain Man, which starred Tom Cruise as Susanna. The plot of the first one is a parody of Top Gun mainly. Only in this case, it's where a weapons manufacturer is sabotaging missions in order, by using a group of misfit pilots, using one in particular, Topper Harley, who's battling the ghost of his father's legacy and his own issues, in order to make sure that they'll pick up his weapons. But another thing about this is that, okay, now on to my notes for this film. Christy Swanson and John Cryer appear in this film together. What very few realize is that they actually appeared in Pretty in Pink together as well, where the movie lists John Cryer as Ducky and Christy Swanson is listed as Duckette because she actually had an interest in him, though it's not shown throughout the. Though it's shown clearly throughout the film, but he's not really noticing her because he's in love with his best friend, type deal. Whereas in this film, it's implied that they're family through their last name. Opera and Ramada have a montage in this where it does the song Only You, and it features Rocky, Gone with the Wind, and Superman. Not sure which Superman film exactly, but I know it's one of them. I forget which one. But it's nicely put together, though it's a little bit pushy on the situation in the Rocky one. Something they all, I mean, that some may not realize because they're too young, or that they don't realize it because of the way it's set up, is that when the film first opens, it opens with a Dances with Wolves parody with the way it's set up. But it also throws in another parody with it. But mainly it's Dances with Wolves at the opening. As it's got a white man living on the reservation under a different name now. Also, back to the only you scene, I mean, little montage. The actress playing Ramada claims that she caught the olive they show being popped into her mouth from her belly button without using trick photography, meaning they did it naturally and easily. Well, this would raise the question, how many takes did it actually do to make that scene happen where she actually did catch it? Was it the first try, or did it take more than once? Okay, Charlie Sheen, John Cryer, two main stars, I mean, two of the main people that appear in this one would later appear in Two and a Half Men together. But there's a lesser seen star in this one, Ryan Stiles, who would also appear in Two and a Half Men as John Cryer's ex-wife's husband in the film, in the series. So it kind of comes full circle for them later on. There's also, you see Charles Barkley and Bill Lambier appear in this film, where they actually reenact a famous fight that they were one known for having. Me personally, I'm actually a little too young to remember this, sadly, because I remember hearing about it, but I don't actually remember the fight itself or watching it. Also, during the scenes where they actually, spoiler alert here, somewhat, but not really, but it is spoiler slightly, so I apologize. The name of the enemy fighters in this movie do have names, but most of them are named after foods of some type, such as couscous and hummus. Although there is one, when they mention a bogey, the guy is dressed as Humphrey Bogart. And during the credits of the film, they give out recipes such as toppings for brownies and tips for after the movie for things that you could do, such as helping somebody learn to read or helping somebody to learn a new language. My final notes for this film, the good things about it, there is that they aren't long. I mean, that it wasn't a long film, so it didn't drag out anything. And the spoofs are noticeable, but they also aren't overly drawn out, making the film flow together nicely. The bad thing about it, some of the references are outdated now, so they won't hold up, and that's the only bad thing I could see with it. My recommendation is that you can watch this film over and over, and it's good for a one-stop comedy. Shot if you needed it. My overall grade for this, a B plus. I wanted to give it an A minus, but the outdated references hurt it. Now on to Hot Shots Part Dukes, or Part 2, the second film in the series, anyways. Came out in 1993. The cast in this one, Charlie Sheen and Valeria return. The new cast member who takes a lead role is Brenda Bake as Michelle Rodham Huddleston, who some would remember from the TV show Popular as Mary Lou Parker. Others may remember from American Gothic as Selena Combs or Coombs. Sorry, I didn't watch American Gothic, so I don't know the last name pronunciation correctly. The second one focuses more around the Rambo series, where Harley's chosen to rescue prisoners and previous rescue teams that got caught trying to rescue said prisoners. Now, for the notes on this film, Ryan Stiles from the first one would return for this one, but he would not be playing the same character he did in the first one. In this one, he plays a demolitions expert instead of a pilot, while John Cryer did not return for this one. The restaurant scene in this one spoofs both Lady and the Tramp and a scene from the Godfather movies. And during an opening scene in this movie, it shows the president, played by Lloyd Bridges, he's supposed to be doing an opening for something. Well, he's got 4 other presidents there with him. During this, Lloyd Bridges' character nails 3 of the other presidents with the shovel so easily. The 4th president, which is supposed to be a representation of Gerald Ford, just falls down of his own accord. This is actually a reference to the fact that Ford in life had acquired a reputation for his own clumsiness. Also, the actress who plays Ramada, who returns for the role in this, stated at one point that this was the best experience of her life, was this film. Other spoofs in this film include Basic Instinct, and you will notice these when you see them. So, I'm not spoiling this for you in that way. Apocalypse Now, Casablanca, or Blanca, sorry. My pronunciation on that one goes both ways. I've heard it every which way possible. Star Wars, Terminator 2, and American Gladiators, even. Michelle and Ramada, because I didn't know this, but it turns out, if you look it up, Michelle and Ramada and most women in this movie have the middle name of Rodham, after, at that time, the president's wife, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Also, there is a reference to the Roadrunner and Coyote in this movie that you will notice when you see it. Something I also noticed in this movie that was in the previous movie is that they brought up Eagle River. I don't know what the connection to Eagle River is, but in both films, Eagle River is mentioned. In the first one, it's how everybody gets connected, such as the Falkenbach connection between John Cryer and Christy Swanson's character, and some other guy in the group. And then, like, half the group knows Eagle River when they mention it. But in this one, Eagle River is where Ryan Stiles' character is from, and he's going. His plan is to go home after this is done, after the mission is done, and marry her and live there for 15 years or something. But Eagle River does come up again, and I find it interesting they brought it up, but there's no actual explanation as to why Eagle River was used. Also, in the credits, you now see fun facts instead of just saying random things. And things get mixed into the credits. Such as, instead of saying something like art or stagehand, such as the light production expert, you get the secret of the crying game, which it will reveal, so spoiler there if you haven't read or seen the movie. My final notes on this one: the runtime was decent, though it did get a little drawn out. The I'm so excited scene with the implied nature of it and the limo driver was well done and was actually very comical in my view. The bad, though, some of the references are more outdated than others, and they're more outdated than the first one in my view at times, which hurts it more. And some of the jokes or references may go over the viewer. Again, going back to the outdatedness, some of the jokes or references that aren't outdated may still go over the viewer's head if they haven't seen any of the other movies or seen the other things that are being referenced. My recommendation: this is still a good film for multiple watches or one-off watches. My grade, however, for this one, the bad hurts it more than the good helps it. So, my overall grade, I give a C plus. For the overall grade of the Hot Shots collection together, multiple watches and single one-off watches. But as for the grade for them together, I give them a B minus. That is my review of the Hot Shots collection. Let me know your thoughts, and until next time.